A couple is inside their kitchen when something pretty terrifying is caught on camera.
Hey.
Unexplained occurrences plagued the house, sending shivers down their spines. Crystal and Damien had found their dream home, a haven that solidified their blossoming relationship. But their perfect picture came with a chilling twist. Sometimes, things would happen that neither Damien or Crystal could explain for this reason. Determined to capture proof, they installed cameras throughout. What they documented on August 6, 2022, at a bone-chilling hour on their hallway camera, would shatter their sense of security. The tension in the kitchen crackled. Their argument escalated, voices rising. Suddenly, a deafening crash shattered the air.
Friends, but but they like you a lot.
They're acting fucking rude to me.
They're not trying. That's just how they.
A plate, precariously balanced in a cabinet far from their reach, plummeted to the floor, shattering into pieces. The silence that followed was thick, heavier than the unspoken words hanging between them. The fight, momentarily forgotten, was replaced by a chilling realization. They weren't alone in their argument. The argument in the kitchen reached a fever pitch. Then, a deafening crash. A plate rocketed out of a cabinet, not simply falling, but flung directly at Damien. The fight died in their throats, replaced by a cold dread. This wasn't a prank. It was a chilling message. Another plate followed, not falling, but thrown with unseen force. This time, it was a clear attempt to silence them. The house wasn't just haunted. It seemed to actively want them apart. Later that night, Crystal was alone, scrolling through her phone. A sound. Footsteps? Damien? Home early? But no one appeared. The silence screamed louder than any noise. This wasn't playful anymore, it was malicious. Recent events had pushed them to the edge. In a shaky video, a haunted Damien declared, "We're outside. It's getting too weird. We're staying at Airbnb for the night. Gotta figure things out." The playful hauntings had escalated to a terrifying presence they couldn't ignore. With a heavy heart, they abandoned their dream home, seeking refuge in a stranger's room. Desperate, they made a risky decision, a séance. Their hope to confront the entity and plead for peace. Would this desperate attempt banish the unwelcome guest, or would their dream home become a permanent nightmare? A couple attempts a séance in their own home, recording the whole thing. Little do they know, it unleashes a paranormal force.
Little did they know, this would be a bad idea.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, close your eyes.
The shower door inexplicably rattles, sending them fleeing the house in terror. They seek refuge at an Airbnb, realizing their home is no longer safe. With the situation unresolved, their house stands empty, a chilling question hanging in the air. What lurks within?
To the couple, the safest plan for now is to stay away from home. Given what's happened, this is probably a better idea. Their house remains abandoned. So then, with all that's happened, just what exactly is going on inside their house? Until any updates are given, it seems that this question will have no definitive answer.
Crystal and Damien, two seemingly unconnected lives, bound by a shared encounter with the unexplained. Their stories, unfolding in different locations and driven by different circumstances, resonated with a similar theme: the unnerving presence of the unseen. Crystal and Damien's idyllic home had become a battlefield, their love story threatened by an entity determined to drive them apart. Now, with their home abandoned and the seance gone wrong, they faced an uncertain future. Would they ever reclaim their dream, or would they be forced to leave it behind, forever haunted by the unseen force within?
What's your stance on this? Paranormal or not? You be the judge.
Across town, a familiar pull drew urban explorer Chris Hill back to the supposedly haunted warehouse. The chilling experience on his previous visit, the phantom touch, the disembodied whispers captured on camera, had lingered in his mind. Despite his earlier declaration to stay away, a morbid curiosity propelled him back. The warehouse greeted him with its characteristic oppressive atmosphere. As expected, the creepy corridor remained a stark contrast to the outside warmth, a constant reminder of the building's unsettling energy. Reaching the spot where he'd felt the unseen touch, a wave of dread washed over him. In the distance, a faint blue light emanated from the infrared cameras, just like before. This visit, however, held a new discovery. Adjacent to the cameras was a small, previously unexplored staircase leading downwards. Descending with trepidation, Chris captured an unnerving sound, a low, guttural whisper that seemed to originate from the darkness below. It was the kind of sound that sent shivers down your spine, a voice that belonged to neither man nor beast. Undeterred, Chris returned to the corridor. As he traversed the echoing space, a new wave of terror swept over him. This time, the sounds weren't just echoes of his own footsteps. Indistinct murmurs, as if voices engaged in a hushed conversation, seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. He fumbled with his camera, capturing the chilling audio. Panic gnawed at him. Had they been there all along, masked by his fear? Had he unwittingly drawn out something even worse with his return? The warehouse, once a place of morbid fascination, now felt like a cage, the whispers closing in around him. Chris, initially drawn to the warehouse by a thirst for adventure, found himself confronting a far more frightening reality. The whispers, the temperature change, and the feeling of being touched, they all pointed to something malevolent lurking in the shadows.
Balls are still there. What the hell is that?
Chris scurried back upstairs, his heart hammering against his ribs. Reaching the dreaded corridor, a fresh wave of terror washed over him. The air hung heavy with an oppressive silence, broken only by the sound of his own ragged breaths. But then, a shift. A faint murmur echoed from the depths of the corridor. It wasn't the familiar creak of the building settling, nor the echo of his own footsteps. This was something different. A low, indistinct conversation, like hushed voices whispering secrets in a forgotten tongue. Chris froze, his blood turning to ice. He strained his ears, the camera clutched white-knuckled in his grip. The murmuring grew clearer, sending shivers cascading down his spine. It wasn't just his imagination. There were voices in the corridor. Voices that shouldn't be there. Panic clawed at his throat. Had he stumbled upon something more sinister than he could have ever imagined? Were these the whispers that had touched him before? He fumbled with the camera, desperately trying to capture the chilling audio proof of his horrifying discovery. Terror propelled him forward. He didn't dare linger. Every instinct screamed at him to flee. Ignoring the icy tendrils of fear that snaked through him, Chris broke into a run, the disembodied voices echoing behind him like a malevolent chorus, urging him ever deeper into the darkness. Adrenaline surging, Chris bolted out of the echoing corridor. The chilling whispers seemed to chase him, their disembodied voices urging him deeper into the darkness. He burst back upstairs, chest heaving, his eyes frantically searching for the source of the debris that had sent him scrambling. "This big-ass box just fell on the floor," he exclaimed, voice tinged with raw terror. "Maybe you fell from up there?" He scanned the area, heart pounding a frantic rhythm against his ribs. Suddenly, a horrifying realization dawned on him. The box hadn't fallen from anywhere. There had been no one upstairs. He was completely alone. Ignoring the growing sense of dread, Chris made a quick decision. "You know what? I'm gonna put the IR camera up here while I explore. That'd be a good idea." "Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do," he muttered, his voice shaky. With trembling hands, he set up the infrared camera, hoping to capture whatever lurked in the shadows. Leaving it behind, he ventured further into the darkness below. Time seemed to stretch as he explored the desolate lower levels. But when he finally returned to the spot where he'd positioned the camera, a fresh wave of terror slammed into him. The footage displayed an anomaly, a ghostly figure, shrouded in an ethereal glow, bowing its head before dissolving into thin air. The most chilling detail? The timestamp on the footage revealed the apparition appeared mere seconds after the mysterious box fall. Confused and beyond scared, Chris fumbled for his belongings. A deafening crash echoed through the building, and before he could react, an unseen force slammed into him, sending him sprawling to the floor. The world faded to black. He awoke with a gasp, disoriented and aching. How long had he been unconscious? The encounter with the unseen force, coupled with the terrifying apparition captured on camera, solidified a horrifying truth. Something sinister lurked within the warehouse walls. He scrambled to his feet, grabbing his equipment and leaving the place without a backward glance. Viewers, after witnessing these events unfold, would undoubtedly share Chris's conclusion. This wasn't just an abandoned warehouse anymore. It was a place brimming with malevolent energy, a place where the unseen held terrifying power. Chris scrambled away from the warehouse, leaving behind the unsettling whispers and the chilling encounter. His breath came in ragged gasps, adrenaline coursing through his veins. Had he captured evidence of a paranormal happening, or was there a more rational explanation? The ghostly figure captured on camera, the perfectly timed box incident. It was difficult to deny the unsettling nature of these events. Was there a malevolent entity residing within the warehouse walls, toying with him? One thing was irrefutably clear: Chris would never be returning to that place. The warehouse, once a site of morbid curiosity, now held a chilling fear. It was a place where shadows seemed to writhe with unseen forces, and whispers echoed with a malevolent intent. Was he merely a trespasser in a place he shouldn't have returned to, or was he being lured into a trap by an unseen entity? The answer remained hidden, shrouded in darkness. But one thing was certain. Both Crystal and Damien, and Chris Hill, had stumbled upon something far greater than they could have ever imagined. Their stories had just begun, their paths potentially converging towards a chilling confrontation with the unknown. Across town, a different kind of mystery unfolded within the walls of the Finocheto Sanatorium. Rumors of hauntings swirled around the Buenos Aires hospital, but a recent security camera capture had solidified the whispers into a chilling reality. The video, recorded during the graveyard shift, showed a security guard diligently filling out paperwork. Suddenly, he looked up, his attention drawn to the automatic doors at the entrance. The guard rose, seemingly preparing to greet an incoming visitor, an elderly woman, according to his later account. However, when investigators reviewed the footage, a chilling discrepancy emerged. The security guard's story held true, except for the woman. The doors undeniably opened, as if someone had entered, but the woman was nowhere to be seen. Only the empty hallway awaited. The video sparked a wave of online discussion. Was this a technological malfunction, a clever prank, or a genuine paranormal event? The question hung unanswered, leaving viewers with a sense of unease. In the vast spectrum of the unexplained, Chris's experience and the sanatorium footage stood as unsettling testaments to the mysteries that lay just beyond our grasp. The security footage at Finocheto Sanatorium went viral for all the wrong reasons. It showed a guard diligently working when he suddenly looked up at the automatic doors swinging open. He stood, seemingly ready to greet an elderly woman, the kind his later account described. But the grainy video revealed a horrifying truth. The woman was nowhere to be seen. Only the empty hallway stretched out behind the open doors. The strangeness compounded when the guard was seen conversing with someone unseen. The security video was creepy on its own, but the guard's story added a layer of chilling terror. He claimed to have offered the frail woman a wheelchair and watched her head towards the elevator. She even told him her destination, the 9th floor, to retrieve the belongings of a patient who had passed away just the day before. The elevator doors closed, and the woman vanished. A shiver ran down anyone's spine watching the clip. The guard insisted he'd even written down the woman's name, a name that matched a patient who had indeed died the previous day. Viewers readily accepted the explanation, the ghost of the old lady returning for her things. But the truth, much like the woman herself, remained a mystery. No further information surfaced about the video, leaving the incident shrouded in an unsettling ambiguity. Across the country, in a house barely a decade old, Troy Leigald faced a different kind of unexplained phenomenon. He scoffed at the idea of his young home being haunted, but recent events proved him wrong. That's the story for the next video. Prior to this latest incident, there had been other strange happenings, objects moving on their own, lights flickering to life. But nothing compared to what his camera captured on November 6, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. The grainy footage showed an empty room. No one was home at the time of the recording. Yet, on the screen, something undeniably moved. A chair rocked back and forth on its own, defying explanation. Troy, along with countless viewers, couldn't explain it. Was it a ghost or something else entirely? Finally, a story that tugged at the heartstrings came from Anna Tan, a mother who had recently lost her brother. The passing was painful, especially for her baby daughter, Evelyn. Anna took comfort in the thought that her brother still watched over them in the afterlife. One day, while in the kitchen with Evelyn, something strange happened. Anna captured it on video. Evelyn babbled happily, then turned towards seemingly empty space. "Who are you talking to?" Anna asked, a playful smile on her face. Evelyn continued to babble, repeating the word "uncle" over and over. On closer inspection of the recording, a faint male voice could be heard early on, perhaps whispering, "Uncle." Anna was convinced her deceased brother had been present during the recording, offering a comforting presence to his niece. Whether it was a spirit or a case of wishful thinking, the video offered a glimpse into the enduring bonds of family, even across the veil of life and death. These were just a few of the unexplained occurrences sent to Scary Videos. Each story, from spectral visitors to whispering babies, offered a glimpse into the mysteries that linger at the fringes of our understanding. The question remained: were these encounters with the paranormal, or something else entirely?